Hello everybody and welcome to Tiger Tells The Lost Stories, a place you'll find stories and fanfictions written and read to you by your host, me, Tiger. All the stories on this channel are written in the first person perspective. That being said, welcome to the Marvel and DC fanfiction universe. Or, I like to call it the TMDFU. This universe is an ongoing universe where I've merged Marvel and DC into one ongoing universe with multiple stories within it. You can go check out the Tiger Tales YouTube channel where you'll find more stories of mine, but specifically you'll find a playlist of the first set of stories in chronicle order as they come out. This is a continuation of that universe, and I also have a playlist on this channel where you'll find all of the stories on this channel in the same universe. So let's dive in with our brand new storyline. I'm a huge fan of Miles Morales, and after the event of Union Day, which is where the two universes emerged, we lost a lot of superheroes. And some new superheroes had to come into light after the old ones disappeared. And Miles was one of the ones left behind, and he didn't take this very lightly. So let's dive in with Miles' new journey, shall we? With The Fragments of Guilt, the multiversal journey of Miles Morales. Chapter 1, An Unexpected Turn of Events. My name is Miles Morales. You know who I am, or you should do. If not, here's a quick rundown. I was bit by a radioactive spider, and not long after that, I became friends with Spider-Man, and became the second Spider-Man. We tag-teamed the bad guys and wrongdoers of New York. Then, about 3 years later, our universe came in contact with another, a whole new universe with heroes and villains unknown to us. We spent days with them, we fought against them, and then fought with them. Then, Union Day. The day where our two universes merged into one. Both universes lost a lot of people. Important people. I lost Spider-Man. Or, should I say I lost Pete. He webbed me to a wall just before Union event happened, so I couldn't get involved. It was like he knew something bad was coming. He left me alive so I could do better now. After that, I met Mr. Pocket. He knew way too much than he let on. He told me something was coming, and I needed to collect a group of people from the multiverse. A new multiverse. Turns out, when the two universes merged on Union Day, it made a brand new set of branching universes. Each action had several possible reactions, and each of that became a universe, branching off of it. That's how I understood it. Preferably, any version of me is better off than I am. I didn't understand, but I couldn't stay in New York, so I took the gig. I spent my time away from New York now. I couldn't face Mary Jane or Genki. I couldn't even face my mother. I couldn't swing through the city knowing full well they lost its original Spider-Man, and I was helpless when that happened. So when Mr. Pocket approached me for the mission, I took it quick. Better than doing nothing, I suppose. I had worked with Hank Pym to take on a new approach to my webs, and we made a device that was linked to my web shooters that allowed me to open breaches to universes. After that, Hank Pym kind of went downhill and I stopped speaking to him. That's when I started my quest. I woke up from a heavy slumber. I climbed out of bed and had a shower and got dressed into my suit. I rarely wore civilian clothes nowadays. So I started attaching my web shooters to my wrist and I put on my trainers. Then I jumped out of the apartment window and I swung into the forest. I lived in an old motel, which was bought and turned into a secret hideout for the Avengers if they ever needed it. It was kind of forgotten about, so I turned it into my base. I swung into the forest and landed on one of the trees. I pressed the button on my web shooter, I aimed it, and I shot a web. This web was rainbow-coloured and shimmered within the light. It hit absolutely nothing, and opened a portal. I then pulled myself through the portal, and I flew through it. I zipped through it, and a surge of energy floated through me as I entered the new universe. I perched on a building, the portal behind me closing. I took in my surroundings. It was pretty evident I was in a new version of New York, and I was outside of the city, just about, in a forest area. I dropped down and I reloaded the multiversal cartridge, But just as I was about to, my spider sense started tingling. I jumped up, flipped over something that flew under me. It bounced off a tree, and as I landed, I turned to see a man catch it. It was Captain America's shield that was thrown at me, but it was caught by no Captain America. It was Spider-Man. An American version of Spider-Man? I was slightly confused. He was a scrawny man in a Spider-Man suit, but it had the American colours on it, and the Spider-Man logo was replaced with a star made out of the American flag colours. Another Spider-Man? The man said. I am, I nodded. Name's American Spider, but I've been there, the American Spider said, pointing at my chest. Nice to meet you, I said with a 2-finger salute. What are you doing here? The American Spider asked me. Exploring a universe or two? I explained awkwardly. Yeah, okay, cool. Just don't be long, yeah? He said to me questionably. Oh no, I'll only be here a couple minutes, I told him. I then went to slot in the multiversal cartridge into my web shooter again when something flew past us and snatched it from my hands. I believe I'll take this, a voice cackled. The figure stopped in midair and floated there. It was the Green Goblin, just as evil and insane looking as my version. If you want this, you'll have to come get me. Green Goblin cackled, then he flew off. Come on, we better get after him. That thing looked important, the American Spider told him. It is. I don't know how else to explain this, but that lets me traverse through the multiverse. If he had it in his hands, bad things would happen for sure, I told him. Then I turned to him. But you don't know me, I said to him. 2 things. 1, we're Spider-Men. We always help each other out. And 2, I think you know you better than you realise. The American Spider chuckled. Then he removed his mask to reveal me. Only other Spider-Men can use bioelectricity. Must be a Miles Morales, I chuckled. I then removed my mask and we shook hands. I was kind of confused how he knew that I could use bioelectricity. I hadn't demonstrated it to him yet. He had a scar over his eye, but we were identical. We both put our masks back on, and he placed his vibranium shield on his back. Then we both shot a web and pulled ourselves into the air, and we started swinging into the city. He led me through New York. This New York was definitely cleaner and more edge-cutting than mine. We swung to the top of a building. So let me ask you, how are you Captain America? I asked as we both perched ourselves onto a roof. Steve entrusted me with a shield after he died. Here's my mentor, the American Spider told me. Wow. Yeah, I lost my Steve Rogers as well, I told him. So how come you're travelling through the multiverse? The American Spider asked. My universe went through something crazy, and I gotta make sure that doesn't happen again. So I'm looking for people, I guess, I explained solemnly. Fair enough. That thing the Goblin nicked, it opens those portals? The American Spider asked. I nodded in confirmation. I don't understand how it works. All I know is that helps me pop through multiverses, I explained. Okay, well, we better find Goblin fast, the American Spider snapped. Then he looked down at the city below us and pointed at the Green Goblin who was gliding above the skyscrapers. We both jumped off and started swinging. We swung through the city. The life on the ground seemed full of life as we swung higher up and caught up to the Green Goblin. Hey! Green Goblin, you've got something that belongs to me, I called out. Then I aimed my web shooter and shot a web, which hit the glider. I pulled hard, forcing the glider to stop in its tracks. Then I pulled myself up, but the Goblin turned around and in the flick of claws, he snapped my web. I shot a web at the closest building, and I pulled myself so I could stick to the window. I need that back! Come get it, Spider-Man! Green Goblin cackled. The American Spider shot a web and pulled himself closer to the Green Goblin. Then he grabbed a hold of his shield off his back and threw it. It hit the Goblin in the head. Then the American Spider landed on the Goblin glider and started fighting him in hand-to-hand combat. I took my chance. I shot a web and pulled myself closer to the fight. The Goblin was wavering around now as he became unstable on the glider as he fought the American Spider. As I swung, I shot a web and retrieved the American Spider's shield as it fell in midair. Then, with it, I shot a web and pulled myself forward. I dove into the Green Goblin, knocking him off the glider. We both fell down towards the ground. I punched the Goblin several times in the face with the rim of the shield as it was strapped to my wrist. I then remembered how Captain America did it. and I backhanded the goblin with the shield. I then swung the shield and smacked the goblin once again before I shot a web making a net below us so the goblin landed on it. He landed on it safely and I quickly shot several webs sticking him to the web net, making sure he could not escape. The goblin laid there cackling as his guider came flying down towards us with great speeds. I was no rookie. I looked up, spun around with all my might, I threw the shield, it flew up and collided with the glider. There was an explosion on impact, and through the burst of flame, I saw the American spider fall down holding his shield. He shot a web, I shot a web, and we both swung to a building close to us and stuck to the window, the American spider landing next to me. Thanks for the help. You made that quick work, the American spider chuckled. Yeah, I've done this sort of thing before, I guess, I sighed. Then we both swung off and landed on a roof. The American spider then tossed me the multiversal cartridge. I managed to snag that off him, the American spider said. Oh damn, thanks man. I kinda forgot about that. I cheered. I slotted the multiversal cartridge into my web shooter finally. Then, before I could say anything, something off in the distance, somewhere on the horizon, the night sky was lit up with a bright burnt orange, a shining yellow light, a blast of energy, and it surged through the entire city. Then, off in the horizon, everything started to disappear and was swallowed by this yellow wave. It was dematerializing everything. I looked at the American spider, but he was still looking off into the distance as it caught up, swallowing the ocean, then the harbour, then the city, as it came rushing towards us. Something caught my attention though. A fast-moving yellow blur moving as fast as it possibly could. I couldn't catch anything other than the lightning coming off it. It came running towards us. It ran at the building and stopped in its tracks, and it stood before us. It was a yellow figure. I recognised him from Union Day. The Reverse Flash, I muttered.
Spider-Man's sidekick?
He questioned. Yeah, I am. Miles Morales, I told him. I'm from Universe M, I told him, which is what Mr. Pocket dubbed our universe.
Funny thing, kid. So am I.
Reverse Flash grinned. What? You're from my universe? But why are you here? I asked him.
Well, you see, I've been hired to take care of some things. AKA, these universes that aren't ours. This one's almost gone, so I gotta go and find the next one.
Reverse Flash chuckled. Then he saluted at me, knelt down into the running position. But I shot a web at the Reverse Flash. He caught it, and then he pulled the web towards himself, pulling me forward. He swung his hand and backhanded me across the face, knocking me off my feet. I dropped onto my knees, then the Reverse Flash bolted forward and kicked me in the stomach, knocking me off onto my back. I climbed to my feet quick, and I watched the American spider throw his shield. The Reverse Flash vibrated, and the shield phased right through him. The American spider shot a web, which caught the shield, and he yanked it back towards him. The Reverse Flash stood up to me, and came face to face.
I got a mission, and I got high stakes on the line. So butt out, bug boy.
The Reverse Flash threatened. Then he ran off in a blur. I looked out and everything was almost gone. The yellow wave had caught up to us rather quickly. The universe was being destroyed. I looked at the American spider. I could not see his face under his mask, but I knew he was upset. He stood there unable to move. In shock, I charged the multiversal cartridge and I shot the multicoloured web and I opened the portal back home. I grabbed the American spider and I pulled him through the portal. We landed in the parking lot of the motel base. Then, the Miles before me took off his mask, tears strolling down his face. What just happened? He called out. Dude, I know this is a lot, but I'm gonna do what I can, okay? I told him. You knew that fast being, right? He asked me. Kinda. I only met him once. My universe. This universe. We met another universe and they kind of merged together. I lost Peter Parker, or Spider-Man, and Captain America. The world lost a lot of heroes. He was there that day, I explained. He said that his mission was to sort out other universes. That wasn't this one, right? Then we can only assume that deleting them was sorting it out. Like what just happened, right? If he's going to do that to other universes, we need to stop him! He barked at me. Okay, look, we can help each other here, I said in shock. Yeah, he said sternly. I gestured him to follow me, and I showed him a room in the motel. You can hang your suit, shooters, and shield in here. Check out the wardrobe, I'm sure you'll find a pair of clothes. I'll leave you to it for a little while, okay? I told him. Hey Miles, he stopped me as I turned around in the doorway. As he placed down the shield, he looked at me. Thanks. You didn't think about helping me or anything. You just reacted quick and got me out of there. So thank you, he muttered. Dude, you just lost your whole universe. Pete used to say this. If you can help one person, then that makes a difference. I said to him. He nodded at me. Then I walked out and closed the door behind me. I walked into my room and sat on my bed. I took off my mask and held it in my hand as I sat there in disbelief of the events that just happened. And there you have it, guys. Another installment to the Tiger Tales Marvel and DC fanfics universe and our first chapter of Miles' multiversal journey. Let me know what you guys think of this story. And once again, this is an ongoing universe with multiple stories in it. You can listen to all the chronicle order of the stories on the Tiger Tales YouTube channel. There are Mutants for Hire, War Against Gotham, the Red Lantern, Crimson Rage, the Ghost Riders Vengeance Reborn, and Spider-Man the new Extraordinary Spider-Man story. There's also Guardian Galaxy story, that's also canon, but that's only had one chapter for now. On this channel, there is a prequel to Union Day called Before Dead Became a Doctor, and of course, we have the Son of Darkseid. So make sure you check out all these stories, and of course, make sure you check out Tiger Tales as a whole. Check out Tiger Tales, the Game Over channel, where we do more stories, but they're all video game related. Check out Tiger Tales, The Mysterious Origins, where you'll find more stories, but those stories are my own original stories, the books that I'm writing, and they also answer a few questions about the mysterious people, including Mr. Pocket. That being said, make sure you check out the Author's Crown YouTube channel, the One Piece audio drama YouTube channel, and the Nursery Comics podcast. Found everywhere where you can find podcasts. That being said, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and I shall see you guys really soon.